Monet, Mark, enjoy man ko, no? Hantay dulon. Monet, Mark, enjoy man ko. Hira ba Mark na Discord na po na yun? Ang stream nyo.
Those devices draw energy from bomb ballists. Make use of them. Sentient energy contained. You are closing on victory. Act now. Smaller sentients rush to the Eidolon's aid, healing it. Stop them.
Cabeça desse aqui, ó. Uhul! Easy call. Iway sa karga.
Sunrise nears. Sentient retreats. Strike now, for in moments the future decides itself.
Nag-fall pa pa yung energy, di puta kayo. Iway sa course!
intel indicates the enemy has dropped a number of supply caches nearby. If you are able to accept this mission, travel to the waypoint and recover supplies before our enemy does. You're nearing the supply caches, but I'm unable to reveal their locations. You'll have to search them all out for yourself.
Area. Ikaw naman. Tapad naman uwi. Mira bote o kabal sing komentar da pa may mauban. Pura. Takya. Ya po, konto course ito pa sa kaki. Easy. Hingga aga ya. Yan na. Number.
Silver. Rightio.
No.
See you soon. I give you coordinates. You gonna make you come back again soon.
Pala, exchange ito todo.
We watch. We anticipate. Yes. Commit. Every choice closes off an infinite number of possible futures. The amp you craft, then, these will in time.
Tier 2 amp. Dahil kami na po naman farm. Ay. Baka pa standing.
Was it ever thus? Which string will you pluck? Which note will you sound? Play well, and the universe dances. Drop a stone, a ripple. Drop a grain, nothing of consequence. Ah, the history you will...
Swura! Let's get you fitted out and ready for the big blue. Let's see what you've got. Wait, you have no fish? Well, what are you waiting for? Go catch some.
Your particular needs, Surah.
Job board's filling up, off-worlder. Help Kanzu clear the slate, eh?
Display your love with a streak of vermilion. Highlight those eyes with a dash of rare cerulean. Counters and dives.
Job board's filling up, off-worlder. Help Kanzu clear the slate, eh?
Counters and dives. Newly arrived at great fish from the Eurasian zone. Display your love with a streak of vermilion. Highlight those eyes with a dash of rare cerulean. Counters and dives. Counters and dives. Display your love with a streak of vermilion. Highlight those eyes with a dash of rare cerulean. Counters and dives.
Dr. Tomnot's cerebral nutrients. Available in citrus for the first time. The product of more than 10 years
Counters and dives. Newly arrived
from
the Eurasian zone.
livers, eels,
Display your love with a
Off-worlder. Help push the Vernier away from Cetus. You do a good deed, I pay you for it.
Demonio kill, puta. Queste perote.
display your love with a streak of vermilion.
Damn dog.
Hey, what's up you beautiful feckers? How you all doing? Now this is the Cerberus Prime, or Cerberus Prime, finally here after being teased for such a long time. I think the first data mine for the Cerberus Prime was well over a year ago, or maybe even more, and it got a lot of tongues wagging when it showed up in the game files, so it's taken a while to actually get here. According to the codex, we can become judge, jury and executioner simply by equipping this weapon. It's a Mastery rank 12 weapon that's in the same mould as the normal Cerberus and of course the Dex Cerberus as well, with a slight variation of stats. It's still a burst weapon, which is either something you enjoy or you don't in most shooting games. It's a bit like Marmite or Vegemite or any other kind of mite. If you've already got the Dex Cerberus and you love using it, then I'd imagine you're already wielding the Prime variant or in the process of getting your hands on it. Now, is it a side grade to the Dex or is it an upgrade? It's something that everyone's got an opinion on. For me, it's a slight upgrade due to the fact that it's got a higher status chance, which will allow you to apply corrosive or viral or any other elemental status effect on enemies more often. It's got a larger magazine size, so you can keep sustained fire for longer, and it deals slightly more base damage as well. That 5% less crit chance than the Dex isn't exactly a huge loss when you look at what you're gaining in return. But maybe you think the Dex is a better weapon, then that's cool, keep it and save yourself the former required to max out the Prime variant. Visually, the Cerberus Prime is probably one of our best looking Prime weapons to date, and that reload is the definition of moist. I love it and its looks, and let's be honest, Fashion Frame is the true end game in Warframe now. Endless missions mean sweet feck all because you don't get the same value for relics as we once did with Void Keys, so not many people run endless missions. Sortie missions seem to be the level that the majority of our community go to when it comes to enemy levels. Now, I will leave the link to the drop tables in this video's description for the Cerberus Prime and of course for Oberon and the Silver in Aegis as well. I will also leave a link to my video which will show you where the best places to farm all of these relics are in case you haven't seen it yet. Check it out and maybe it will make your grinding a little bit easier. And as far as modding my Cerberus Prime goes, I decided to stick 6 form on mine and mod it for status and bladed rounds, and of course I've got shred in there as well. Now, I know some of you are looking at the shred mod and already saying potato argon scope would be much better in that slot, and you're right, in fact so would a different elemental mod, but having punch through on my Cerberus is something I'm used to now. I run it on all the different variants, and if I didn't have it, I just feel weird. I miss not being able to hit multiple enemies in a row, and when dead bodies tend to be in front of you and you shoot it, it won't go through and hit the guy standing behind it, and it just feels wrong to me. It's the devil, Bobby, it's the devil. So by all means, if you're looking to min-max the Cerberus Prime, then swap out that shred mod for argon scope or another dual stat mod for a higher status chance. Shred is just my personal choice. Or if you've already got a good Riven mod for the Cerberus, then run with it. Right now I think Cerberus Riven mods are selling for about 1 to 2,000 platinum depending on how good the mod is, so beware if you're actually trying to buy one, but if you've got one,
is pretty good. The Dex Cerberus, as we all know, is a fairly solid weapon, and this is more of a side grade to it, which is perhaps my biggest problem with the Cerberus Prime. It is a very solid weapon, and it's very usable at most levels of the game, but comes at the very high mastery level requirement of mastery level 12, which may be just slightly above where this weapon might actually reasonably go. I've built for mostly corrosive here to get through some armor, as this weapon has a decent status chance, and it will perform very, very well during the test. We're also going to show the comparative kill time of this on a level 145 heavy gunner versus the Soma Prime with the same build, as the weapons are quite similar. However, this weapon does have double the mastery rank requirement. But Soma Prime is also vaulted right now, so there's that. It will kill enemies quite well. It doesn't have a lot of recoil anymore. And it performs well enough, like it does what you might expect. It's like, part of its biggest problem is that it's a rifle, in that rifles just aren't very good. As it stands right now in the game, they're far outpaced by shotguns, and secondaries for that matter, in terms of just raw damage output, which is a bit unfortunate for it. But like, if you wanted a burst weapon, I'd have to say that this is probably the best one in the game right now. Pretty handily, so if you're into burst fire, got really nowhere else to go. Pretty good at it. And like I said, the respectable status chance does mean this can work at higher levels, and the good damage works at the lower levels, like these. Although this is the kind of beginning of sortie levels, so you can kind of get a feel for the slightly higher than this once we do the 145 test. But yeah, it performs fine. It's just maybe not as much damage or as much status as would probably denote an MR12 rifle, in my opinion. But it's okay. Like, I don't really have, like... It's a weird thing, because it's an MR12 weapon, and while this is, like, a really good rifle, I still don't feel like it earns MR12. Because right beyond this is the Tigris Prime at MR13, and the Tigris Prime is significantly different, let's say. So... maybe doesn't fall exactly along the power curve you might expect it to. At 2.5 critical multiplier, or maybe 35% status chance, I might be able to see it, but it just seems a little underwhelming for its requirements, I suppose. But yeah, we're going to show it on a level 145 heavy gunner. From the pillar here. Trying to get as many headshots as I can. In a reasonable amount of time, of course. Upward recoil is not too bad. Takes about, like, a little over a clip and a half to kill them using the best damage type against them. With the Soma, and I'll show that we're using the same build here. Oop, there it is. The exact same build. It's going to take about the same amount of time. It's just the MR is the part here. And in general, I find that, like, a weapon like the Soma has a much more versatile clip and all that business. I don't know. It's just something about the Sybaris Prime is a bit underwhelming, but it could be a little bit in part that I've never been particularly fond of burst fire weapons. So I would say definitely farm it out, as it's a pretty simple farm. But maybe this is only going to be a thing that you're going to use a lot if you really like burst weapons, and that's probably fine. I think at the current power level it's at, maybe MR10 would have been a little more appropriate. But I guess that's just kind of a nitpick on my part. It's a solid gun. But yeah, see you guys tomorrow.
I give you coordinates. You go in, you work, nobody but you comes out. Good? Picky, picky. Shola!
Farm Toro Kinsel Mark. Sita